Well, since I do buckaroos, I'm still messing with the camera angle here. I apologize. I just can't get it right where I want it tonight, man. Anyways, how the heck are you? I am, well, you know who I am. I kind of adjusted where I need it for some reason. Just bend in that direction. Anyways, let me get this set up over here. So here's the thing. I don't always do a Tuesday video, but I am off tomorrow. I didn't do as many videos this weekend uh, that I typically do because, well, it was my birthday and it was a big old party my wife threw for me. And I just didn't turn the camera on, man. I was just talking to people all night long. But I have so much stuff that I got for my birthday that I want to keep talking about. So I wanted to do a video here. I've got a cocktail that I've made from a scotch that some folks have given me. I got a lot of bourbon. I got a lot of other things, but somebody gave me a scotch set, so I really wanted to try that. So I did make a Rob Roy, which is a scotch version of a Manhattan, more or less. Then I've got a beer I'm going to finish with you. But I want to make sure I've got this all set right first. There we go. Let's go with that. So anyway, I'm using the bourbon cask scotch. It's an 80 proof Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, double maturation. First stage was finest oak cask, and then finished in bourbon cask, first fill bourbon cask. So there we go. So it does pick up those bourbon notes, right? A lot of Irish and Scotch. You second use where that bourbon has kind of done its thing, right? So the oak, the vanilla, the spice is more subtle, but this one really brings it out. So, which is one reason I wanted to try it as a Rob Roy, being that as you all know, I do love a good Manhattan. So, oh gosh, oh gosh, that's delicious. But the other thing I did different here is a friend gave me a box of strong water bitters. I'm a bitters junkie. I like to keep trying different bitters and things. Here's one I've never used before. Golden Aromatics. Let me see if I can read some of the ingredients in here. If I get my eyes to focus on that tiny ass lettering. Oh god, I gotta tell you, that's delicious though. Set that down. Strong water. 5 ounces, 40% ABV. Wow, man, that's wow. I just used a couple drops though. So, anyways, the ingredients are other than alcohol. We're just gonna go so turmeric, cardamom, cinnamon, and allspice. Wow, that sounds very interesting. Which is one of the reasons I wanted to use that to balance the sweetness of this particular scotch that I had earlier. I would like to make this for some friends exactly this way to see if they could tell that it's a Rob Roy and not a Manhattan. In all honesty, because you do feel that peat if you're paying attention, but it is subtle, so you might miss it. But those golden aromatics, might be my new favorite. Those are very interesting. I love those spice notes there. Comes at you in a little bit different way than the traditional Angostura. I do love strong water stuff. Their cherry bitters is wow good. But this set had six different specialty bitters that I'm really excited about. Good Lord, that is good though. I am a Manhattan guy. I do love me some bourbon, but if I'm making a Manhattan and I'm using bourbon, which there's nothing wrong with using bourbon, although some people would say you have to use rye. You don't have to do a damn thing, and it's not hard and fast that rye was the first. It is likely, but there is no actual proof. And nevertheless, a rye does make a nice Manhattan. However, here's the however. For me, I'm a bourbon guy, but if I'm using bourbon to make a Manhattan, I'm always using a high rye bourbon. Always. But this single malt Scotch and this Rob Roy, I got to tell you, is insanely good. As much as I would usually say these whiskeys should be drank neat, which they probably should, this whiskey makes an insane Rob Roy. I mean, it is good. Gives you that right amount of smoky, that right amount of, you get that peat, but you also get that oak because bourbon cask, right? But there's a lot of vanilla sweetness in there. Oh, cheese whiz and bacon. That's delicious, man. Oh, that's good. I don't care who you are. That's tasty right there. That is. Yeah, that's delicious. Got the dark cherry in there. Is it a Luxardo, you might ask? Just for some, that's the only cherry. The truth is, Luxardos are great. There's nothing wrong with them. They're $25 a bottle, sometimes more, or jar. Are they the best? Well, I don't know. I, there are some brands out there that I found that are just as good. However, Luxardo does claim to be the first, but there's another one in contention, the Maraska. Some will say the Maraska was the first cherry for Manhattan, and they're both exactly the same price per jar most of the time. But the truth is, I challenge you to know by looking at this cherry which one it is, whether it's a Luxardo, Maraska, or Collins, or any other brand for that matter, because I don't think you can. And here's the thing for me, I don't eat the cherries. I don't. I know most do. And there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't. For me, it's about the juice does add some flavor for your cocktail. But for me, it's about the look. You got to have that dark cherry. You can't put a bright red maraschino. Exactly what dark cherry you put it in there. Hey, man, it's between you and your cocktail. Don't let any pretentious son of a bitch tell you any different. Because those are going to say, oh, but I can tell a difference. I guarantee you, that guy that says he can tell a difference, if I line five cherries up, there is no way he's going to find the Luxardo. I guarantee it. But he will brag to no end that he can tell a difference. And I'm telling you, he can't. Because I would love to take that guy and do a blind taste test, put five dark cherries out there, pick out the Luxardo, because we both know you can. anyways, I digress. Well, this is probably the best Rob Roy I've ever had. It might be the only Rob. Nevertheless, but no, this is really delicious. The bourbon cask. finish is tailor made for a Rob Roy. The others, the other two are very good as well. Um, but they're going to take this particular cocktail a different direction. But again, let me change that up a little bit. If you're making a Rob Roy to get it as close to a Manhattan as possible, this is your one. But in all honesty, I will probably try the other two just to see what they will do as a Rob Roy. But again, very close to a Manhattan here. This is absolutely delicious. I did promise I had to have a beer with you, and I'll finish this beer with you. But I had to finish it. I had to drink that first because if I had this beer first, it would definitely taint my taste buds because, well, it's a little different, man. It is a Brett beer, Brett sour, if you will. I don't think they use the word sour on the label, but they do tell you it uses bread. They do tell you persimmon, guava, this, that, and the other. I will be honest and tell you, I'm not a big sour guy, but I've always loved the Boulevard Brett Saison they've put out. That beer is insane. Tom, how can you say you don't like sour? You do not like sours and love that beer because it comes at you in a little bit different way, a lot like this one does. There is some tartness. Some might even say sour, but it does not make your asshole pucker, right? It's like biting a tartness. So yeah, it's almost like biting into an underripe plum kind of thing, right? You feel that tartness, but then you get the sweetness there. And I feel like that's what this beer does. And I feel like that's what bread does. To me, bread is more of that. And I know it's a loose description depending on the person, but bread gives you more of that funkiness than it does give you that sour. Meaning it kind of changes the game. For me, I'm going to describe it as somewhere between a key lime pie and biting a lemon. So I once had a discussion with a friend telling me that tart and sour are exactly the same thing. I said, no, they're not. Tart is a key lime pie. Sour is biting a lemon. Now, whatever your yeast is usually somewhere in between those things. And that's kind of what I feel here. As the key lime pie is tart, but there's some sweetness. Biting a lemon makes your sphincter pucker. This does not make my sphincter pucker, nor does it feel like I just ate a delicious key lime pie. But I do feel all those fruit notes. I feel that. Oh, let me take that back. I was going to say persimmon, guava. I don't really eat those things, so my mind is perceiving it as something else. I'm feeling more apricot. I'm feeling more stone fruit because those are flavors and aromas that I know. And I always tell folks, regardless of what the label says, you're only going to taste and smell things that you know. If you've never had a persimmon or guava, you're not going to say, oh my God, now I know what that is. You're not going to know. Your brain isn't going to interpret it that way. You're only going to taste and smell what you know. So for me, it comes across more as stone fruit, right? But for you, you might feel it somewhere else. Bottom line. Bottom line it for me, Tom. Bottom line. Yeah, it ain't bad. I didn't expect to like it, to be honest with you. But it does feel like again, it does feel like a very much, really, a much fruitier version of the saison bread I used to drink way back when, which was really the first Brett beer or even anywhere near sour beer that I ever had. So, anyways, Anyways, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and I'm also Tom the Beer Whisperer. I like to be diversified. It doesn't help to pigeonhole yourself. Anyway, we'll just skip to the end and say, all right, good guy, Slancha. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it.